Welcome to Bloodbath and Beyond. Today we're doing a retrospective review of Death Spa. You'll sweat blood.
Directed by Michael Fischa, starring William Bumiller, Brenda Bakke, and Ken Foree, Death Spa is about a new trendy health club in Los Angeles, but gruesome deaths start to happen. And it's up to Michael, the owner, to figure out if it's his staff or his dead wife who returned from the grave.
Because this is a retrospective review, we may be spoiling the shit out of this movie, so if you have not seen it and you do want to check it out, links are in the description. Come back and watch this afterwards.
What do we like about this movie, guys?
There's something to be said when it comes to 80s slashers that takes place in a gym, in a spa. There's so much to work with, and it's a good concept. And because, you know, you're gonna have babes in spandex and shit.
They were 80s as fuck.
Stacks on stacks on stacks of socks, sweet dance moves, and killer grooves.
Come on!
The whole atmosphere of it being in this like workout health spa, they just took something that's so over the top and ran with it.
I think it's undeniable that 80s slashers are just our favorite overall. It's not too serious, they know when to drop the jokes, the kills are always something. There's more practical effects just because of the nature of the decade. It's just so much fun to watch these old movies. And Death Spa, I don't think, is any exception to that.
Well, how many reps can you do?
15 or 20, more if I'm showing off.
Well, why don't you show off for me?
I never waste effort in the gym. Besides, I'm beta, you're VHS.
Taking place at a health spa, you're opening yourself up to creativity when kills are concerned because you have so much to work with.
Gotcha, it's just a tomato.
So in this one, we have some really strange kills, to be honest. I thought they were gonna be different than they were. But for example, we have a fellow who is pressing some weights, and instead of his arms breaking, his side breaks.
Yeah, well, it makes sense, right? Because you go like this.
But your arms would break first before your fucking side would bust.
You feel it right here, Jay.
And I love how much smoke was used to create this acid chlorine that was in the air in the showers. And the burn methods, the practical effects for the aftermath, when you saw like the melted faces, it looked good, but at the same time, you just can't help but laugh at how disfigured they are.
Especially considering they never showed anyone actually get disfigured. It's just like, oh, they got stabbed in the neck and now their face looks like that.
I enjoyed the mystery to this movie. It kept me interested. There was a twist at the end. But what was really interesting is that there was actually two things happening at once. There's the workers who want to take over the gym, and then there's a ex-wife who committed suicide. And these two things are happening, and you don't know which one is actually causing the murders.
And it sounds weird saying that this person who committed suicide, how could she take over the gym?
But
It's the power of twins. Don't you know? Every twin has special powers.
But this is a different special power than we've ever seen. This is a werewoman. This is a guy who would turn into a woman sometimes and then turn back.
now there was a good explanation given in the movie.
What the hell happened?
It's Catherine, she took over David's body.
There's a lot of things like that in this movie where it's like, what? Okay, you know what? We're just gonna deal with it.
What's with the goddamn bird's nest?
For example, when that one guy just randomly jumps through the window.
Michael, yeah.
Michael runs through the window. Nobody at the party even cared. Ken Foree gets thrown through the same window, or a window close enough to it, and everyone's freaking out. No one cared that a guy at a party just ran, body checked this dude in green, sorry pal, and then jumped through the window. Why didn't you look the other way? What? Nope, everyone's just like, whatever.
Jumping through something, not their problem anymore. Coming at you.
It's a problem. Right, whoever's in that other room has to deal with that guy's problem.
So that's the rule of doors and walls. On that side of the door and wall, your problem. On our side, our problem. So this movie started taking some weird turns. Towards the end, things became a little more magical. And there was no real explanation for it. In the trivia, the movie is known as Witch Bitch, in some countries.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I get it now.
Yeah.
They should have called it witch bitch instead of death spot.
But then they couldn't have that clever pun when the
lights flicker and
when the
stuff?
power goes out and you get to spell a word in another word.
I love that.
Can I just say, I really enjoyed Ken Foree's character. He's the beefcake of the gym. Like, he's helping everyone out.
Never work without a spotter, Freddie. Wig falls on your chest and you can really get squashed.
He was a good guy. He was just like the muscle of the gym.
You need to be able to flex on the haters if you're wearing jackets like that.
So let's talk about the ladies.
Ladies, primo. There are some scenes where you have lots of naked ladies, specifically when they're taking a shower. Great boobs in there. Steam rooms. Hold on, first of all, I don't go to steam rooms, but I imagine you don't walk into them and this happens. The girl's just sitting there rubbing down her body the whole time. Pretty cool.
There's also a...
What? Is that not pretty cool?
Yeah, no, I know it is. You're just very casual, just like, pretty cool.
Oh, she's finger banging herself? Well, I'm just sitting next to her in my towel. Well, that's neat. Well, we'll both get clobbered by the chlorine in a second anyway. It doesn't fucking matter.
We also had a young Hillary Banks.
Yes, that's so strange. Hillary from Fresh Prince. Her debut movie is this movie.
Yeah, who needs weight reduction through terror? Do you think you can handle both of us after jazz class tomorrow?
Well, I could sure have fun trying.
I like the spontaneousness of some of the kills. Things get a little wacky towards the end, and things just happen, and you need to just go with it. For example, a guy in a sauna gets a fucking rock through the face when he kisses a girl. No explanation, just happens.
But there was like an underlying explanation that witch bitch was trying to get her husband back.
Right.
So she was killing anybody that got close to her. What didn't we like about this movie, guys?
To follow up on what I previously said, I'm not a huge fan of how some kills just came out of nowhere and lasted like a very quick second and just moved on.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of emotional impact to these deaths. The nature of a lot of these horror movies, obviously, slashers, you gotta get the kill count up, but like at least one or two could have made us feel good. Another problem was some of the blonde girls looked the same.
I would say the same thing with the brunette dudes.
Have a nice day.
We are easy to recognize. And I don't know why people in the 80s are not. You can't differentiate them. Most of their hair is identical. And they're all hard bodies, can I just say? We have different body sizes now. Back then, it was just, you're fit.
There was that one guy who went nowhere. Like the English guy.
You're right. He was trying to work on his bod.
His story went nowhere. I felt like there should have been a scene where like maybe he died on screen or had an interaction. Because like they established him pretty early as like one of the regular gym goers. And then he just disappeared. He wasn't even at the party.
Yeah.
Unless he was in costume and we didn't know.
But he always had some like witty one-liner.
Yeah, they just kind of like wrote him out halfway.
Papa Gold, we're due to make land in a week.
Yeah, that leads to my next point. It felt like there was two movies at play here almost. Because you had the British guy, and it seemed like it was just like a cop thing where they were gonna come and find the slasher. But then you squeezed in this paranormal psychologist guy at like the halfway point.
There's more to this job than things that go beep and buzz.
And then took that weird turn. So it felt almost like they mashed two things up.
I may never take these bandages off.
It's like, we don't have enough of a movie for Witch
one
Bitch.
script.
And we don't have enough for Death Spa. Well, I got the beginning of a movie. I got the end.
I want to see the beginning of the guy who wrote the end.
Now there's something even I can't improve upon.
Definitely the last 15 minutes of this film were just like super high action. That's where we got a ton of kills. We got that cool like hand getting blown off and shit. There was a ghost presence that was playing with things where earlier it's just like, it's prank wars.
Hi, Michael.
So like the cops felt like wasted characters. I don't think they really needed to exist.
With the one cop. That cop had the best death in the whole movie.
The fish death? Yes, okay, fine. But that's his only purpose. It could have been anyone. It could have been the English guy. They could have written that character completely out and it didn't matter.
It could have just been like, oh, the cops are useless. They're not helping me. Michael goes, tries to solve his own mystery. And then the Englishman We could have established that he liked the Shake Girl at the beginning. And then, at the end, when he's trying to pull her hand out, she could have done that blender joke on him. All ties back in.
There you go.
She dies, he's sad, then he gets killed by a fish for some reason.
But there's a lot of...
Perfect. It all comes full circle.
But there's a lot of weird stuff. For example, when the lawyer breaks into Michael's office, and like instantly the next person who comes in the door, he sneaks behind the desk.
I think that was just poor timing. He was supposed to be like in the shadows, and this second person was to come in. But I think they just totally timed it wrong. It's just like, this is a decent thing.
It's time for our final thoughts and ratings.
Despot's a fun time. It's a movie that, if you've seen it, it's great to revisit, and if you haven't, it's worth going to check out. It's just filled with campy goodness, with cheesy deaths, cheesy effects, but it's the good kind of cheesy. It's the one you can have fun with your friends, and even if you watch it by yourself, you're gonna enjoy it because there's so much going on. It's got a cool twist, and you're gonna enjoy all of the characters, even if some of them are kind of useless. You just look past it because it was the 80s. But I would definitely check this one out. So with that being said, I'm gonna give this film 4 cool high fives out of 5.
Putting the cheese on manual, and that's the end of that. I like it.
Horror and working out just makes sense. It had a lot going on, but I liked how weird and wacky the whole movie was. The pacing was super strange, and I don't really know what I liked about it, other than like the babes and the weirdness. I'm a simple man. I did feel like it really ramped up towards the end and gave us something that we have never seen, even now. So many years later, we've never seen. In any case, it's definitely worth watching. So I'm gonna give this 3 sexy asparagus out of 5.
I really enjoyed this movie. Like John said, it was a good cheese, like a brie or Havarti. It's fun seeing those 80s thinking about futuristic computers and things because it is way off. I think it adds a lot to it. I don't think it detracts from it. The kills were cool. The acting, I think, was pretty good for this movie, to be honest. And I think this is a movie people will enjoy, especially if you're a fan of 80s slashers. So I would recommend to go check it out. And I'm gonna give this 3.5 hackers out of 5.
You can't blame the computer for tiles flying off shower walls. The computer doesn't control tiles, for Christ's sake.
As always, thank you for watching. Like this video and comment below with your thoughts on the film if you've seen it. If you haven't and you do want to check it out, there are links in the description where you can find it. If this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe to the channel, stay updated with everything Bloodbath and beyond.